Hello everyone. Today we're going to explore 5 philosophical ideas that shaped the course of human history. Yes, philosophy sounds boring. Trust me, it's not. Because philosophy is a way of thinking that questions everything from the mysteries of the universe to human nature, from social structures to moral values. These thinkers didn't just think, they presented their thoughts systematically, discussed them and wrote them down. And these ideas transcended their time, reaching all the way to the present day. So what were these ideas and how did they impact world history? Let's begin. Ancient Greece, the golden age of philosophy, science and art, and one of the most important thinkers of this age, Aristotle. One of the first things that comes to mind when we think of Aristotle is the system of logic he developed. So why is Aristotle's logic so important? Before Aristotle, the way to acquire knowledge was mostly based on intuition, beliefs, and myths. Aristotle developed a systematic method for acquiring knowledge, logic. The method of deduction he developed allows us to make logical inferences based on specific premises. For example, from the premises all men are mortal and Socrates is a man, we can conclude that Socrates is mortal. This simple example helps us understand the basics of Aristotle's logic. Aristotle's logic formed the basis not only for philosophy but also for scientific fields like mathematics, astronomy, and physics. Scientists like Galileo Galilei and Isaac Newton, pioneers of the scientific revolution, also benefited from Aristotle's principles of logic. Even today we use Aristotle's principles of logic in scientific research, law, and even in our daily lives. We use logic when trying to understand an event, evaluate an argument, or make a decision. Aristotle's logic is one of the most important intellectual tools in human history. Thanks to this tool, we can better understand the world, make more accurate inferences, and produce knowledge based on solid foundations. Aristotle's legacy continues to illuminate our world of thought even today. The 17th century. After the Renaissance lit up the darkness of the Middle Ages, a new era began in science and philosophy. And one of the pioneers of this era was the French philosopher René Descartes. Descartes is known for his famous phrase, "I think, therefore I am." So what does this phrase mean and why is it so important? Descartes began to question everything that was considered to be certain knowledge up to that point. Could our senses deceive us? Are we dreaming, or could a demon be tricking us? Starting with all these doubts, Descartes searched for a solid foundation, and finally, he found this foundation in the act of thinking. If we can think, if we can doubt, we must exist. Because something that doesn't think can't doubt either. I think, therefore I am, is the basic principle of Descartes' philosophy and is considered the starting point of modern philosophy. This principle emphasizes the importance of the subject, the thinking self. It tells us that to gain knowledge, we must first turn to our own minds, our own thoughts. After Descartes, philosophy became more subject-centered. Descartes' philosophy was influential not only in philosophy but also in mathematics, physics, and other branches of science. His contributions to analytic geometry and his mechanistic view of the universe profoundly impacted the scientific revolution. The principle of "I think, therefore I am" remains a focal point of philosophical discussions today. Topics like consciousness, artificial intelligence, and free will are shaped around the problems Descartes raised. Descartes' philosophy is one of the intellectual turning points in human history. This philosophy calls us to explore the depths of our own minds and to question the world with a more critical eye. Chapter 3. Marx's Materialism, the Philosophy of Social and Economic Transformation, the 19th Century. The Industrial Revolution is in full swing, cities are growing rapidly and society is undergoing radical changes. It is precisely during this period that Karl Marx presents a new perspective for understanding history and society. Materialism. So, what does Marx's materialism mean and why was it so influential? According to Marx, to understand history and social life, we need to focus not on ideas, beliefs, or the actions of great people, but on material conditions, modes of production, economic relations, class struggles. These are the real driving forces of history. Marx interprets human history as the history of class struggles. From slave society to feudal society, and from there to capitalist society, The main factor is who owns the means of production and who uses these means. According to him, capitalism, due to its internal contradictions, will give way to a classless society, that is, communism. Marx's materialist perspective has profoundly influenced not only philosophy but also economics, sociology, history, political science, and many other disciplines. Marx's ideas had a great impact on the establishment of communist regimes in many parts of the world in the 20th century. Marx's materialism continues to be an important reference point in discussions of social and economic inequalities, class differences, and the problems created by global capitalism today. Marx's philosophy inspires us to see the world differently, to question social and economic structures, and to fight for a more just world. Chapter 4. Plato's World of Forms, Journey Beyond Reality. We're going back to ancient Greece. Plato, one of the greatest names in philosophy, invites us beyond reality to the world of forms. So, what is Plato's world of forms, and why is it so important? According to Plato, this world we see with our eyes and touch with our hands isn't real. This world is just a pale copy of the true reality. The true reality is the world of forms. The world of forms is a world of unchanging, perfect forms. Perfect examples of all abstract concepts like beauty, justice, and truth exist in this world. Our perceptions of beauty, justice, and truth in this world are just faint reflections of these perfect forms. Plato explains this idea with the allegory of the cave. People living in a cave, unaware of the outside world, believe that the shadows on the wall are real. But if one day someone leaves the cave and sees the real world, they realize that the shadows aren't real. According to Plato, we are like the people in the cave. We need to be enlightened by philosophy to see the real world, the world of forms. Plato's idea of the world of forms has profoundly influenced the history of philosophy. Many philosophical movements, especially medieval philosophy, were influenced by Plato. Even today, Plato's ideas continue to be discussed in fields like art, ethics, and politics. Plato's philosophy reminds us that reality is more than what it seems, and it emphasizes the importance of pursuing perfection and being enlightened by philosophy. Chapter 5. Nietzsche's Superman, a journey beyond morality. We arrive at the end of the 19th century. German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche emerges with a radical rebellion against traditional morals and values. So, what does Nietzsche's concept of the Superman mean? And why has it been such a controversial topic? According to Nietzsche, Christianity and Western philosophy have weakened humanity, creating weak individuals with a herd mentality. He opposes this situation and declares the end of traditional values with the words, "God is dead." So, what does the death of God mean? It means that traditional moral rules and the distinctions between good and evil are no longer valid. This is where Nietzsche introduces the concept of the Superman. The Superman is a strong and creative individual who questions the values imposed by society and creates their own values. The Superman is an individual who has broken free from the herd mentality, acts according to their own free will, and lives life to the fullest. Nietzsche's concept of the Superman has been misunderstood by some, and attempts were made to exploit it for Nazi ideology. However, Nietzsche argues that the Superman is not limited to any race or nation, and that everyone has the potential to become a Superman. Nietzsche's philosophy gives us the courage to question our own values, break free from the impositions of society, and act according to our free will. Although the concept of the Superman is a controversial topic, it gives us the opportunity to rethink the meaning and potential of being human. And so I've tried to introduce you to 5 philosophical thoughts that shaped human history and the thinkers behind them. These philosophical ideas are still very influential, not just in their own time, but even today. Because these ideas tackle what it means to be human, how we should live in the world, how we can gain knowledge, how societies work, and many other important questions. These questions have faced humanity in every era and will continue to do so. If you liked our video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video. Goodbye.